What would you do if your entire world was destroyed? In the space of 4 minutes? This is the story of a 13-year-old girl whose courage defied every expectation and whose escape became one of the most remarkable survival stories in modern true crime. Welcome to Dark Crime Vault, where the darkest mysteries are brought to light. If you're into true crime stories that dig deep, don't forget to subscribe so you never miss a case. Thank you for watching and being part of the vault. In the quiet town of Barron, Wisconsin, where neighbors knew each other by name and children rode the school bus without fear, a crime unfolded that would shock the entire nation. It was the early morning hours of October 15, 2018, when 13-year-old Jayme Closs's world was torn apart in an instant. On that night, a stranger forced his way into her family's home, brutally murdered her parents, and vanished into the darkness with Jayme. For 88 days, no one knew if she was alive. As investigators searched desperately for answers, the community clung to a single hope: that somehow, Jayme would find her way back home. This is the story of a young girl's unimaginable ordeal, and her incredible courage to survive when all seemed lost. From the moment deputies arrived at the Kloss home, the situation was as tragic as it was baffling. Inside, they found the front door forced open and Jayme's parents shot to death. But there was no sign of Jayme. The only clue was a single, desperate 911 call. The dispatcher heard a woman's voice and commotion in the background, but the call was too brief and distorted to trace in real time. Investigators knew time was critical. Every minute that passed without answers meant Jayme was in greater danger. But with no eyewitnesses, no clear motive, and no reliable leads, the search turned into a race against the clock. Law enforcement launched one of the largest investigations in Wisconsin's history. Hundreds of officers and volunteers combed nearby fields, forests, and abandoned buildings. The FBI joined the effort, distributing over 25,000 flyers and following thousands of tips that poured in from across the country. Despite the massive response, every promising lead seemed to dissolve. Surveillance footage yielded no breakthroughs. No neighbors had seen a vehicle leaving the scene. The killer had been in and out in minutes, leaving almost no trace. As days turned into weeks, fear and uncertainty spread through the small town. Parents kept their children close, terrified that whoever had taken Jayme might strike again. Candlelight vigils were held to keep hope alive, but behind every gathering was the haunting question: would Jayme ever be found? While the search consumed the community, Jayme Closs was enduring an unthinkable nightmare. The man who had shattered her life was 21-year-old Jake Patterson, a stranger who had decided she was the girl he was going to take. Patterson had spent days planning the crime in meticulous detail. He shaved his head to avoid leaving hair evidence, stole license plates to disguise his car, and brought a shotgun to force his way inside. In the space of just 4 minutes, he killed both of Jayme's parents and carried her to his vehicle, hidden in the darkness. As investigators scrambled to gather clues, Patterson drove Jayme 70 miles north to a remote cabin deep in the woods. There, he ordered her to crawl under a bed. He stacked heavy bins around the sides so she couldn't escape, and blocked her in with weights and furniture. For hours at a time, she was left in total darkness, cold, terrified, and alone. Back in Barron, Jayme's family was overwhelmed by grief and uncertainty. Relatives tried to make sense of the violence that had shattered their world. Her classmates left her desk empty and decorated it with flowers and her school portrait. Neighbors held on to hope but braced themselves for the possibility of the worst. Investigators were determined not to let the case grow cold. More than 3,500 tips were pursued, from reported sightings to anonymous messages. The FBI brought in specialized teams to analyze cell phone data and surveillance videos from nearby highways. But every trail seemed to fade into nothing. Through it all, the emotional toll deepened. For Jayme's extended family, each passing day without answers was agony. For law enforcement, the case became an around-the-clock mission. And for the people of Barron, life was suspended. Everything revolved around bringing Jayme home. After 88 long days of captivity, everything changed on January 10, 2019. Patterson left the cabin, telling Jayme he would be gone for several hours. For the first time, Jayme sensed an opportunity. She had observed his habits, listened to his routines, and now she acted. Heart pounding, Jayme pushed aside the bins that kept her trapped under the bed. She pulled on a pair of Patterson's oversized shoes, opened the door, and stepped out into the freezing Wisconsin air. Every step she took away from the cabin was a step toward freedom and danger. Jayme spotted a woman walking her dog along a quiet country road. That woman, Jean Nutter, immediately sensed something was wrong. Jayme spoke just 7 words that changed everything. "I'm Jayme Closs. He killed my parents." Jean led Jayme to a neighbor's house where they called 911. The relief in the voice of the dispatcher was echoed across the nation. Jayme was alive. Police rushed to the scene and within minutes, spotted Patterson's car nearby. He was arrested without a struggle. In his confession, he admitted everything. The mystery that had haunted Barron for nearly 3 months was finally over. For Jayme's family, law enforcement, and the entire community, the moment brought overwhelming relief and gratitude, mixed with heartbreak for all she had endured. Jayme Closs's story is one of unimaginable loss and extraordinary courage. In the span of a single night, her world was destroyed. She was torn from her family, held captive in isolation, and threatened with death if she tried to break free. But Jayme never gave up. Even in the darkest moments, she paid attention, learned her captor's patterns, and waited for the chance to reclaim her freedom. When that moment came, she found the strength to run, to survive. Her escape ended one of the most urgent missing child searches in modern history. Jake Patterson was quickly brought to justice, sentenced to life in prison without any chance of parole. For Jayme's family, friends, and neighbors, her return was a miracle, proof that hope can endure even the most devastating circumstances. Her story inspired countless people around the world and reminded all of us of the importance of community vigilance and the power of never giving up. Jayme Closs's journey is a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. No matter how impossible it may seem, survival and healing are always possible. What are your thoughts about Jayme Closs's incredible story of courage and survival? I'd love to hear from you. Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you're interested in more true crime stories that explore resilience, hope, and the lessons we can learn from these cases, be sure to check out my other videos. Subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. Thank you for watching, and remember, stay safe and stay aware.